Hi everyone, I'm Kate and I am an indie artist and producer, and today I'm going to teach you three drum beats, drum loops for beginners. Anyway, let's get started. The first one is called the 2-beat. It's used in The Weeknd's Blinding Lights. Sounds like this. And the reason why it's called that is because you're just accenting the second beats with a snare. So I'm just going to talk about this in terms of where you're putting things. So these big lines here, I don't know if you can see them, they all represent one beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then within those 4 beats, it's broken down a bit more, which we'll get into. But when I'm talking about 1, I'm talking about this area. When I'm talking about 2, I'm talking about this area. 3 and 4, I'm talking about this area. So basically with the 2-beat, you want to make sure that your kick is on the first and the third beat. So in Ableton, you can just copy your kick on 1 and put it on the 3. There we go. And then a good bet with most drum patterns is that your snare or clap is going to be on beats 2 and 4. So let me just copy this over. It's on the second beat and now it's on the 4th beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And all together it sounds like this. You get the idea. That's done. Building off of that is the 4 on the floor beat. This was popularized with disco music, and you'll see it kind of shares a lot of the similarities of the 2-beat. So we have the same like kick and snare here. Let me make it so we're back to just the 2-beat, right? So we have still the kick on 1 and 3 and still the snare on 2 and 4. 4 on the floor just adds the kick, so it's also on the 2 and 4, so that you're playing the kick on every single beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you add the snare, so it's the same on 2 and 4. And then the only other thing to add a little more groove is adding a hi-hat on the 8th notes. So an 8th note is just when you take your full beat, which is a quarter note in this case. I don't have to get into the theory of it right now, but it's just half of that. So in your grid, you can select 1/8 and you'll get that. And then, yeah, let me just delete these so I can show you. You take your hi-hat and put it on every 8th note. And then all together, 4 on the floor will sound like this. And then obviously you can play around with it, use different samples. These aren't the best. I just picked whatever was stock for the time being. But yeah. And then the final beat I want to talk about is the trap beat. So I like to call it. I think the most important thing with this beat is the kick placement. So you're still keeping the kick on 1, but you also want to put it on the second 8th note of the second beat. It'll make more sense. So your snare is going to be on the 3rd beat, and you just want your kick 1/8 note before that. So together it'll sound like this. So it'll give it a bit more of a different groove, as you can see. Also to note is that I'm only showing 4-bar loops right now, but a lot of times drum loops can be 8 bars, they can be shorter or longer, but yeah, just know that you don't have to necessarily do the same thing over and over. For example, like if I made this an 8-bar loop, let me duplicate it so it's longer. I could add a little variation with the kick. So you just see a lot of times people like to put a little variation in the last bar. So it makes it a little more interesting. And then the trap beat usually has some sort of hi-hat. This can be on the 8th note like we did in 4th on the floor, and you can just do that throughout. But I just added a little variation at the end here and put it on the 16th notes, which is the half of the 8th note. Yeah, let's listen to it first. That trap people really like to do is pitch their hats up and down. So I'll just quickly do that here just to give it a little more interest. But yeah, definitely play around with what samples you're using and how they sound within the loop. So you get the idea. Quick groove. Yeah, that was it. Super simple. 3 drum patterns you can use whenever you want to. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to learn. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.